There you go. What up, G?
What up? Welcome to episode 15. We've got lots of squares here.
Yeah,
It's a different setup. I'm excited. Lindsay, how are you feeling?
excited.
Yeah?
Yeah, like really bubbly.
Nice. Well, we have the honor of interviewing HeartSpace Collective. Welcome, HeartSpace Collective. How are y'all?
Hello.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this is a different format than we're usually doing because we want to interview these very special people. And Lindsay and I had just such a wonderful time at y'all's retreat
Yeah.
that we were like, we need more of Heart Space. So
Mhm.
let's get them on here.
Yeah.
So, Lindsay, do you want to add anything to that, or do you want to jump right into questions?
Obviously, I want to jump right in.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, that's on par with
Yeah.
you for sure. Awesome. Oh, there's Charisse. Oh, she's muted. You're muted.
Okay, I'm back.
There she is. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's jump right into questions.
Well, why don't we have everybody introduce themselves
Oh, that would
and
be good.
yeah.
Should I point to the square? But I think it's different for each person, isn't it? Monique, why don't you go first?
There you go.
Sure. So hello everyone. I am Monique. I am actually an active duty Army officer, and so I'm currently serving. And I am one of the co-founders of HeartSpace Collective. Um, do I don't know where else you want to end up going with this, but um, do you need a little bit more as far as how I found you? Maybe?
Yes, that would be awesome,
There you go.
actually. Yeah,
Okay.
how
Uh,
did you get connected with North Node?
so I'm an active duty Army officer, and I was encouraged to try this group therapy. I have a little bit of had done some musical theater in the past, and I had never done any group therapy itself, and tried out. Um, and heard about the North No Therapeutic Theater against my will, a little bit, as far as I was very hesitant about trying something out. I've never participated in anything like that. I'm kind of one of those people that I would say I'm very new to feelings. I always talk about how I don't therapy good, all of those things. Tried it out, and trying to go through it a little bit quicker. We can go more in details later, but is that it was very impactful for me, and it was a little different than what I anticipated. But it was truly valuable personally, that I wanted to share that experience potentially with others, and including my friends and fellow co-founders, to see whether or not this could be useful, potentially for others as well. And so, um, yeah,
Awesome. Thank you,
yeah.
Monique.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jenny, why don't you go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Choi, Army veteran, no longer active duty, but I currently work for a government contractor right now doing IT operations work. But in my free time, I am trying to keep the heart space engine running, so we can get this nonprofit kind of progressing. I'm based in the Central Texas area near Austin, but I'm originally from Southern California.
Awesome. And you got a little taste of some North Node Therapeutic Theater. How is that for you?
I did. During the retreat, I did get to participate in one of the sessions. I think if you remember, I told both of you that I kind of wanted to be a little bit more subtle in my experience. I wanted to give the main retreat attendees the full experience. Um, but I feel like I kind of fell into it very deeply, and um, there were some moments that were very intense and emotional for me, um, but in a good way. I feel like there was a lot of release that needed to happen for me, and it definitely did. Not once, but I think twice, which was unexpected as well.
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, is beautiful to be with you in that process. Yeah. And Audrey.
Hi. Hi, Audrey Iriberry. I am a born and raised New Yorker and Army veteran. I met these ladies decades ago as we served together. And I have learned in the Army that mission first, people always. And that really stuck with me as a community builder that really takes ideas and brings them to life. I've worked, of course, in the military, but also public, private, nonprofit sectors. And in all of those different spaces, the one thread that I really bring across is that ability to connect people in order to get stuff done. And so that's what I do at HeartSpace. I am responsible for all of the programming and curating it, and that's really what I've enjoyed.
Awesome. And Audrey, you got to watch some of the therapeutic theater. What was that like for you?
I am a professional coach as well, and so I got to see a little bit of things that were familiar in terms of really allowing the clients to go in the directions, client-led, that they want to go and not trying to steer anyone to any given outcome. And so it was really nice to see that there's really a universal way to connect with people. And then it was on the flip side of that, really wonderful to see your expertise shine through in terms of the therapeutic part of it, and really being able to manage the emotional past in a way that was both nurturing and authentic. And so that's something that obviously I don't touch as a professional coach, and it's really nice to see.
Oh, that's really awesome to hear from another coach in this realm of work. So thank you so much for that.
I will also say is that this is why we should have had Audrey actually, and she's so naturally good at, facilitating and being a coach. We should have had her do her intro first. And so that way I'm like, oh, I should also talk about my professions and why, why this team is works so well and brings our skills towards it too. And so um, you can see, where she fits and falls with our programming as well.
Yeah, I get that. You also did really great, Monique.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I'm a nurse. I'm a doctorate. But
Yeah,
we all bring parts of ourselves as well, as far as that our experience and into this realm. And professionally, I am a registered nurse. I have a doctorate in nursing practice. Trained to look at like systems, and so and how do we improve things where we are, where we end up needing to be. And so, talking about evaluating programs, but I also care for people and work in customer service and relations. And so that's one other additional portion that we end up doing. And so, but I appreciate that. But yes, that's how we need that person there.
yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Monique. Charisse, tell me about yourself.
Oh gosh. No, trauma was that type of question. Woo, interviews and such. But no, thanks for upping the ante on this one, Monique. Um, my name is Charisse, and I am in the Army. I'm an Army engineer. I am preparing to transition from this world that I've given 2 decades of my life to a more civilian environment. And I have found a lot of value in the time that I've been in the Army, but Audrey was sharing, I like to, when I see a challenge, I like to find the people that I think can help, bring us to a solution. And so it's really fun to be able to identify something that we need in our community, in a community that I'm going into, and then be able to work with some really great friends to, help those we care about, find solutions, find a way to enjoy this life that I'm about to lean more into, a little bit more better. Um, I I bring the authenticity to the team, as you can see. I'm living life right now in this
Love
moment.
it.
Sometimes even in the moments that you shouldn't be so authentic, but here I am. Um, the I'm preparing to transition at the end of the year here, and so I'm just really excited to participate more with my great friends here.
That's awesome. Thank you, Charisse. That's a nice segue into the questions. And, first of all, like it was really such an honor for North Node to be at the first retreat. And I know that y'all put a lot of work into that retreat. And I also know that you recently had a reunion call to check in with people. And I was curious how that went.
I mean, I really wanted to ensure that the HeartSpace Collective is not a one and done events management company, right? Like we are building the HeartSpace Collective community. And so want to create opportunities for folks to reconnect, right? Even after you've left the guest house, and then continue to not just small talk, right? But dive into the intentions that you had set at the retreat, check in on how those are continuing to impact your life 30 days later, and then have some programming that allows you to ground into those so that you can carry them forward. We had a wonderful, also women veteran, Stephanie Wood, who was able to lead some creative exploration, because I think, Lindsay, you had said this in a different podcast, like art provokes or something like that. And so it was great to see that kind of thread come through in both of our programming.
Yeah.
And so she led us through a bit of that. And it was just great to, one, see each other, and then two, ground into the programming, and three, introduce the idea that like, hey, we're still here. We're planning another retreat in the fall in October. We are planning on these virtual community calls on a regular basis so that you can continue to be a part of the HeartSpace Collective, and then provide those kinds of updates. So really grateful to have even that 30-day reunion call.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's so many retreats out there, and those are great, like 3-day retreats, and then you go home and you integrate what happened. But like that's such a beautiful thing to like continue the process of building that community in such a deep and meaningful way. So I love that and really appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So let's get into HeartSpace Collective. It's a nonprofit serving women veterans. And let's get into the why. Like, why did y'all decide to create this?
I'm guilty of dragging these ladies, I think, into this crazy adventure. But this, I kind of will go back maybe 2 years or so. This tiny seed was planted when the four of us had our own, girls' weekend trip. And in that trip, Monique and I had never met actually. I knew Audrey and Charisse from, back in, even our college days. So, and, but there was an immediate connection, I think, that happened because of our shared experience and understanding of the little things that we have gone through as a woman in service, a woman in the military. So for me, that weekend was really just rejuvenating and, healing to be a part of, um, connecting with these ladies and just having that sort of space together. And then the idea came when we, kind of replicated the weekend again last year in a different location. Um, and, just wanting to kind of seeing that magic. I guess we always call it a je ne sais quoi. Like there's just something that is there that we can't really describe, but we know there is this connection. And we wanted to build this community of support for women in the military or women veterans. And I think for me personally, I've had my personal struggles with mental health and imposter syndrome and all of the above, but I realized that a lot of this was not uncommon. And talking with other women veterans, other ladies, like people have felt similar emotions of feeling dismissed or underappreciated, underestimated, etc. And so for whatever reason, even going through all of that, I still wanted to give back and find something meaningful to pursue in my post-military life. And so, just I was at some point I got tired of talking about doing something purposeful and a mission and just decided to go for it. And then, I knew that there was, I think Monique had mentioned earlier, we all bring a different type of skill set and just contribution to this space. And I thought that we could all create something really special together.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about that, like, because that's like a leap, right? Like it's a risk taking that leap into creating, birthing. We're in Leo season, so Leo is all about like birthing children and fertility and like and creating something, not a literal baby at times, but like this nonprofit. You guys created this beautiful thing. What was that like to take that leap and really actualize it?
I'll start and maybe some of the other ladies can jump in because, um, you know, I think I remember the first time I kind of threw out the idea to them and we were talking about the weekend, our own weekend feeling like waiting to exhale. And, if you start to get to know us, like a lot of our life goes into songs and lyrics. So we always weave that into our conversations. And so we're, joking about that song and shoop de doop and stuff. But literally, we were calling, or my idea for this first retreat was called Shoop Retreat. And I built out this this shell and an idea based on what we went through, honestly. And some of the sort of the administrative stuff is it didn't take that much. It just takes effort to like just put it out there and kind of get executed and get it done. But really, I just kind of put that idea into the universe and in a text message to them and said, what do you guys think? And then I guess the rest is history.
I'm going to cut in and say that Jenny is an experienced entrepreneur. And so when she says the administrative stuff is just, you just do it. Da, 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 da. No, like she knows how to build things from the ground up. She has done this before. And so maybe it didn't feel that hard for her, but it is an administrative leap to your point about making that leap of faith and making something a reality. So that is definitely Jenny's expertise there. Since I'm on the mic already, I'll speak very quickly about, for me, I started playing with programming these maybe unwilling, unknowing guinea pigs in that retreat where we started talking, right? Like, where do we want to go? What do you want? Authenticity and like vulnerability and like, what are we going to be doing? And what is your purpose in life? All of those types of questions led to Monique deciding to pursue theater and Jenny deciding to start a nonprofit, right? Like these are things that as a coach, you could never imagine, right? If you were going to say like, hey, Audrey, where's Jenny going to be in a year? And I
Mhm.
don't know, right? But the ideas are in there. And if you
Yeah.
are truly client led and empowering them to see what the possibility is, like HeartSpace Collective is already living proof that our programming is impactful, right? Like the fact that we exist, the fact that we have been able to multiply that impact even with our first retreat, and then we're going to do it again with our second. I mean, it's just, if you want to see things, to your point about coming to life, right? Birthing something from an idea. I am just so confident in this programming's ability to just create a community, because it already has, and then it's done it twice. So here we go.
Oh, that's awesome. I love your energy. Oh my God, it's so good. And I love that you hyped up Jenny. Like, oh, this it's so much more than this.
Girl, she won't. So somebody's got to.
That's wonderful. So good.
And I will say that both of those ladies, they have their MBA, right? And just being, it's a team, right? We all need our enlisted, we need our officers, but even just our innate training as Army officers, you're a natural leader. You take a look at problems, things come up, and you know, you fix things, you solve stuff, you navigate, you find a way to make things happen. And so I think when you're with a bunch of friends, and both of those, I don't know if I said it, so I'm going to say it again because sometimes I forget, but is that they both have MBAs. Jenny was doing the website and things, just creating the nonprofit, all of these aspects. And truly, I think the balance of us, from some of us being out there in the civilian world and being veterans and experiencing that, and then Sharice and I still being on active duty in different areas, knowing what those challenges are, truly, I think complemented all of this. And you need that community to kind of hype yourselves up. And so I think we were sometimes downplaying our own abilities and even contributing towards that. But going back to that, even that initial weekend, or how that second one happened, why I had so much confidence is we moved through that weekend with this word of the weekend and with intention, and we supported each other in it. We checked in to make sure, are you able to accomplish those goals? And I saw those glimpses of wow, and how impactful that was even within ourselves. I was definitely scared to be on that train, but I thought that the mission was so needed because it was so, again, personally
Mhm.
valuable to be in this community of people who said, um, uh, you're not alone in these aspects, and encouraged you in order to do so. And so, kind of saying, going into like why women veterans, right? Is I saw how I had gone through and gone up in ranks and been in leadership, and thought that I was the only one struggling, right? Saw sometimes some inequities. I saw, um, but I was struggling by myself, and I thought everyone else had it together, right?
Yeah.
And because no one was really talking about it, and I didn't see a place for myself in there. And then I got together with these women and realized again that I wasn't alone in this. And then they encouraged me. They didn't judge me. They didn't judge me for the things that I've done, the experiences that I had. They didn't say that I was weak. They validated, those feelings, and said, "Hey, you need to take care of yourself. It's really important. You should go, seek mental, health." And actually, instead of uh, not, right? Because I'm caring for all these other people within our lives. And so, again, like, we go through hard things, right? And there's the things that we end up doing within that time and within that service. And so, we didn't kind of say what our mission was, but our mission is to create spaces for transformative connection among our women veterans. And so we didn't have that space. I didn't know about anything that ended up existing. And so, really, we were like, guess what? We're going to do this. Let's make this because I don't see it out there. And I wanted a place in which we can come as we are and be authentic, truly authentic in that space itself too, right? And ready or not, here you go, including any of the therapy stuff. And to know that their struggle is that they don't need to struggle alone. They have community and that they deserve this as well, right? And then being able to pay it forward with this group of ladies is an honor. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that, on the topic of spaces, I think a lot of us share that, it's kind of hard to step out and want to kind of be in that vulnerable place. And I think one of the pieces of what we offer with HeartSpace is truly creating a space in our world. And what we discovered it through was a premium experience. I think we were able to say, well, this is the type of space that we want to create for others and let them have that same experience for us. So we won't really go into like what some of those girls' weekends look like, but let's just say they were elevated, they were fun, and I feel like I needed that type of space along with the people to kind of start to open up and just feel like I was set apart from what I was normally a part of. I think the other thing is, as you said, you asked, like, what does it feel like to just take that leap? I think we, along the vein of music, as we were talking about this waiting to exhale, we also paid homage to, is it John Mayer and his song, to just sit here, I'm waiting on the world to change.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep waiting. You can do that with your friends, John Mayer. We are not going to be, me and my friends, like, we are not going to do that. We are going to stop waiting. We are going to exhale. And Jenny and Monique and Audrey, with their encouragement, doing this as friends, gave the courage to take the leap, to stop the waiting and just try it. And so and to do that and create a premium space, like, just it's fun to do.
Yeah, that's amazing. I really love that y'all did this together first to experience it, because to me, like, the deepest learning is having your own experience. And then there's so many layers to the beauty of what y'all are doing. It's like you created that space with each other and recognized the power of it. And then we're like, oh, let's do a nonprofit and fully leap. And it really allowed other people to experience this. And that's just so beautiful to me. Like, that you guys saw a need, actualized it, and are growing it. Like, that's a really powerful thing. And North Node Therapeutic Theater, like, we totally love that, value that. That's what we're doing too in our own way, right? And so it's just such a gift to get to connect with y'all and like support you guys inside of this process to build. Lindsay, did you wanna add anything?
Not to add, no.
Do you want to ask anything?
Yeah, so what are you hoping to create within 6 months to a year for your HeartSpace Collective? Where do you see this going? How are you hoping to grow it? Let's start there.
I can start. I think for the near term, the 6 months to 1 year, there is a presence in Texas. I think that we have started to build in this community, and so I think that part will continue. Like Audrey mentioned, we're already planning a second retreat. We didn't plan to have a second one this year. We're just thinking of having one to kind of test our product really and figure out all the different components. And because it was such a positive reception, it kind of exceeded our expectations, to be honest. And the demand is there. People have been asking about it a lot. And so we're like, okay, let's take this momentum and run with it. And so we are planning a second one in Texas again in the fall. And then we would love to then expand maybe to the Pacific Northwest, which is where Audrey and Sharice live. So that's maybe sort of a second locale that to sort of service the women veterans up there in that location. And so, yeah, our goal is to do multiple retreats, over the next 6 months to 1 year. And then also we want to try to do some short form programming as well, not just a full, like a 4-day weekend retreat, but maybe like half day or full day sessions that, still kind of are in line with our mission, but are maybe more accessible for people who cannot maybe get away for a weekend or something like that.
That's great. Yeah.
And I mean, expand to the Pacific Northwest. That's so exciting. Yeah.
Come on over. Come on over. I will say that if we're gonna expand to, what our other goals are, is we have the programming. We of course have that premium product of a 4-day, 3-night retreat, which is a long time, and we appreciate that like not everyone can get away from their lives for that amount of time, and yet we understand that the mission is to create authentic and restorative spaces for transformative connection, right? And so that could be anything. And so when we allow ourselves, and I celebrate this group because we are still friends, right? Like this, anything like this could break a group, and yet somehow we are still friends. Can I tell you, we have so many academic smart minds on this team that this mission statement, every single word means something. It is not just something that ChatGPT made up. It's like, is it authentic though? But is it what does restorative mean? What if people don't like spas? And I was like, well, restorative could mean a camping trip in the Pacific Northwest. And so we're allowing the mission to really become anything that the clients need. And so we're focused on delivering that in terms of, like Jenny said, short format, whether it be, hey, a company could decide to have HeartSpace Collective drop in for their lunch and learn, and we'd be able to do an executive speaking engagement. And then that would be still within that mission statement umbrella. In addition, we now we're just talking Audrey now. This is not the rest of the org, but in our wildest fantasies, we could see this applying multiple retreats, multiple short format engagements happening across the nation at the same time. There could be middle of America chapter, Northeast chapter, Southern chapter, all those different places. We could also see it expanding to other areas in which women are working in male-dominated fields. So our first retreat saw 5 nurses, Army nurses in it. And so we already saw the applicability for, say, first responders or other places where there would be women in a similar life experience. And so we could see this going beyond even just the target group, but I will stay focused, and I am delivering programming to our women veterans, of course, that's where 100% of the focus is right now. And we're excited to do that.
Nice. That's awesome. Anybody else wanted to add anything? No. Bueller. Just kidding. Okay. So what do y'all see as like current obstacles in this process of creating these spaces?
So
accessibility is one area, just making sure that you create an experience. I mean, that's something that I feel like I'm always is on my heart and monitoring, is you create an experience that feels like it is open to at least this first group that we're looking at, which is women veterans. They come in all different experiences and backgrounds. And so how you do that, how do you make a space that still feels open to them? Like Audrey said, spas might not be your thing. Some people don't like the idea of somebody touching their feet, or what they define as a spa, but just just making sure that the space feels open for those who are willing to try.
Yeah, makes sense. Monique, did you want to add something?
Yeah, and sometimes I don't think of it, are they really true obstacles, but just challenges, right? And but truly kind of going into we can't do the work if we don't have the funds for the work,
Mm.
right? And so we really need to build those partnerships, and we need funding, right? So if that's sponsors, it could be volunteers to eventually, after they maybe experience the retreat themselves, if they're willing to participate and work it as well, because we're kind of going through, and it might not always just be the only the four of us working it, as we end up growing and continuing. And if, as are we doing simultaneous things? And so in order to grow, we need to build that bench. But truly going back to it is, sometimes there are little challenges of, we need to have something on the books, but we also need that without your support or funding, right? We can't do this work. And so truly, that's what so that way we can provide this experience, this opportunities, and all this other stuff. And unfortunately, it's not free. We haven't won the lottery yet.
Yeah.
But I know Jenny, has plans for when she does win the lottery.
Ah,
Mark Cuban, if you're listening,
yes.
to this
Oh
podcast,
yeah, he's definitely a
hello.
listener.
Yeah, he definitely is.
So yeah, for real. Like if there's any sponsors out there that are interested in sponsoring a really important nonprofit, please go to the HeartSpace Collective Instagram. We posted so much about them, and contact them, please. Awesome. Um, do we want to get more into like y'all's wildest fantasies of what you want to see? Like I want to hear more of that. If there was no limitations, no like limitations in terms of funds or resources, like what would you guys want to see? What do you want to create?
Okay, I'll jump on it since Monique already prepped it. So my wildest fantasy is to build our own retreat complexes. Um,
Yeah.
in starting in Texas, obviously that's where I'm located, but obviously when we want to do retreats all over the country, and potentially, we would have our own facilities out there. And the reason why I say that is because as we built out this or developed this first one and then the subsequent ones and this sort of elevated experience that we are trying to do, right now what we do is we find vacation rentals or guest houses like Airbnbs, that type of house to rent for the weekend, because what we found from the first retreat is that the ladies did actually enjoy that aspect. They like, even though they were sharing rooms, they liked that communal feeling and being all together in the same space. Because we did sort of think about, hey, is it better to maybe use like a hotel? Everybody have their own room, sort of a private space. But even with like shared bathrooms and all that stuff, people didn't mind that. They really enjoyed the company.
Mhm.
And so in trying to find sort of the ideal locations and budget and form, sort of layout of the house, that's always like a really big challenge from what I've seen. It's because, a lot of these places are built for families or big groups, and it's like, yeah, you have like a nice master bedroom, but then this other bedroom has like four bunk beds in it. So we're not going to put a person in like a king bed and then another person in a bunk bed. So that's not really the experience we wanted to provide. And so it would be great to like, based on our programming, the activities we want to build and sort of the vibes that we want to provide, that would be my dream, to build out exactly what what would accommodate that. And then we can also use that to, provided for other organizations that are doing other types of retreats or events and things like that. So that's just one aspect of my fantasy.
Do you have more aspects of your fantasy?
Well, I think one thing that Audrey touched upon was that, she was saying, how we branch out, our programming would be all over, but I think she kind of didn't explain the full extent of it. Like, basically, we want to make Audrey like the Brene Brown. Like, we want to create this programming that can be replicated and utilized.
Oh, come after me, Brene. I love you.
We love Brene.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah. But that, that is, one part of the dream that I know we've discussed as well.
That's awesome. Audrey, does that mean that you're going to be writing a book soon?
I think we're going to start with like a podcast. Oh. and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Baby steps. I get it. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, that's really cool stuff. Anybody else want to add fantasies? Your wildest fantasies. No limitations.
About the organization, right?
I mean, if you want to go elsewhere.
Client led.
I got in a conversation. Here we go.
Yeah.
No,
you've probably heard our podcast. We go places.
Yeah. Oh, wrong episode. Okay. Yeah, I would say a part of what I see HeartSpace being is kind of like a smorgasbord of options of testing out some of the types of things that are helping us with mental health. And so in a world that, resources were unlimited, being able to really give people all the different types of experiences, maybe it is something to jump from the tallest building in the world and bungee jump, and it really brings some people some mental health, to be able to give people an experience like that and still relate it back to how it helps with mental health that would be an amazing expansion, and to give people those opportunities. So
yeah.
And I would like to say, kind of going back to, what we need in order to do so is, I think in the future we would wanted to, have sponsors apply for grants, and so that we can provide all of this for free, right? But we're just starting out, and so I think these first participants benefited from those partnerships and sponsors that we had, and the generous donors, and they only had to pay like $100 for this first one. But we don't, it's a nonprofit. So whatever we make, we're putting towards that, the event and future programming. So it might not be the same for those future ones or events, but with hopefully future grants and as we get established, and also sponsorships, then yeah, the dream would honestly be for this to be continued and sustained forever, and provide those to everybody who ends up needing this or wanting to be in this space. Okay. And that they'll still let me in the club.
Always. And wouldn't it be great if you could do well by doing good, right? Isn't that the dream? I think that we also have talked a lot about mental health, right? But this is about whole health, right? That this is the point of the collective, and that purposeful name as well, is the idea that it's not just your mental well-being that is part of your well-being. It's also your physical health, maybe your financial state, maybe all of these different areas of nutrition and time in nature, your environment, your community. And as the HeartSpace Collective, we would, as Cherie said, have that connection, right, of all of these different things that are available to women veterans that speak their language, that understand their context, that would enable them to have whole health that goes beyond, just the 4-night relaxing retreat, right? So that it would be a resource that you could go to in a community that you could rely on and say, hey, I'm in Dallas. Anyone from HSC here, right? And then it would be that opportunity to connect, because you would have been able to find each other through this trusted network of women veterans who have got your back.
I think that connected back to even you as North Node, like we were able to introduce to people this option of what you can do to work with, whether it's your mental health or areas that you're wanting to work in. And so being able to create these types of partnerships and connections with all the different resources that are out there. So I think it's interesting that it directly connects back to the relationship that we have built with you all here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful connection back. Are there things that you guys hope to include that like that you noticed during the retreat? You're like, oh, this would be cool if we had this thing. Is there other like modalities or resources that you really want to add to the retreats?
I think that there's each retreat, we might have some core programming that we end up having, and then layer on additional as we grow and different types of programs that we have. And so we can say that this is a particular type. You're at the level one, and then there's an advanced, or not necessarily advanced, but just a different offering that you end up having. But because um, I think we talked before, like we're not a monolith. We're not exactly and all the same. We're at different stages and places within our lives. And, we try new things, and something might resonate with one group or one person, but not for the others, right? So the puzzles or the other aspects and this therapeutic theater might be good and to try new things, but it might not for others. There was a moment in time in which didn't know if it was the vibe, but maybe it's the next one in which I was wondering how we could do like a little more dance. I would love to have like silent disco.
Oh, that would
I'm
be
really
super fun. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and just because I, even if I'm not good at it, but I would love to do a little more, maybe line dancing or hip hop or
Hmm.
whatever it is, because it's still a creative release, but that might not be for everyone. And what was really nice about this was that you were invited to try things and nothing was forced upon you. The team and Audrey were always like, we invite you to, and most people showed up for it because they wanted to be there, because they wanted to try new things, but also it was okay if they needed to sleep in because that was the rest that they needed in that time frame. And so that's kind of the same with some of these options. And so, we might not always be this time we're sort of bougie, nice food and, good things and luxe. And we lucked out on some of those aspects that they were even nicer or better than even anticipated. But maybe we have a different vibe or something else because, um, yeah, we try new things and there's something may resonate with each different person, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to say is that trying out like new things. You don't have to be, I'm always thinking that someone else needs this more than me. I need to work on myself more. It's come as you are, right? And just dedicate that time to yourself and see if as a whole, we can be uh, I don't know. Someone jump in. You know what I'm trying to say. Like it's catching what I'm throwing, but yes,
Yeah,
to get that time to work on yourself or for wherever you want that to be. Yeah.
it sounds like a really nice balance of allowing like them to have their own agency, and yet like you can choose to join in and be a part of the group or not. Like either one is perfectly okay, which is really nice, especially for
I think that,
military, right?
yes, absolutely that. So, especially for folks who are in the military, one thing that I said over and over again is everything is optional, reminding folks that they drove here. They can always just leave, right? Like where no one's forcing you to do any of this stuff. And I think that if you're used to having to wear certain clothes and having to show up at a certain time and having to look a certain way and even answer a certain way, speak a certain way. Those types of invitations can seem jarring and can kind of put people off balance a little bit of like, why are you inviting me to, like, just tell me what time to be there. And I was like, actually, you decide.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
coming. Just you decide everything. And then when people realize that they're in charge of their destiny, it's kind of off-putting sometimes. You're like, wait a second, why? Somebody tell me to follow the yellow brick road. And
Right.
that doesn't exist, right? That's just something that we tell ourselves to feel comfortable. But the discomfort is in that authenticity of being able to choose whatever. And so even if that only exists for this 4 days to try that on, right? What happens if I don't show up to breakfast on time? Just try it on. See what happens, and then like all of this working on yourself can happen in any space at any time. And so I just love it. I just love that we offer anything that could help.
I will say that that is hard, right? In order to say like, wait, what do you want me to do? Even within ourselves, sometimes it was like, but I don't get it. Like, where do you want me to end up being? But it really was that invitation for but what I want to say, even though you have all this invitation, there isn't like ambiguity or an unknown. There is a program, there's a plan, there's activities. So in one way of when they're coming, if they're coming to one of these events, there's a plan, right? And they don't have to think about, okay, what do I have to eat for dinner? And what do I have to, I have to plan out these activities. So in a sense, we've done that portion for you. And then it's your option of do you participate and stuff too. So that's kind of nice as well. You take away that thinking portion
Yeah.
too. Mhm.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I can just imagine because I did veteran evaluations for people who were transitioning out. Um, and that seems like a really tough process. So did you get a mix of active versus like out, like people who are retired, or like is it a mix, or like I'm just curious because I feel like this is such a great community to help people transition out.
I'd say
So
our
go ahead.
yeah, I don't think our demographics was actually quite a few people who were actually transitioned out of the military. Um, and I mean, I think I could speak for an individual who was on the cusp. It was nice to be in the community of those of the world we're getting ready to go into. But I do think it will be interesting to see how this ties into maybe somebody who is starting their career but has experienced enough of the military to know that they need community. And I think in some ways that would be a goal is if I knew this as a lieutenant that I could have this type of community, maybe life would look a little bit different. What does that look like?
Yeah,
I mean, so I don't. I think that remains to be seen on like how much it helps specifically with transition, depending on where you are with it. But it was good to see us in the wild, as somebody who's getting ready to go out into the wild.
And I
yeah,
think you saw in the groups themselves that we had a very diverse group, actually. We had participants who were Marine Corps, Air Force, Navy, Army, those who are medical and non-medical, people who've done a couple of years and those who've done a career in their 20s all the way up in their 60s as well. And so I honestly I was impressed with the breadth and the scope of the people that we were end up able to impact. I did the enrollment stuff, and so therefore that's why I actually have that part member. But
yeah.
we were able to get truly uh, quite a few a diverse experience. Yeah.
That's
And
really
I'll pile on to say that this group is an impressive group of people who have dedicated their lives to the service of our nation. We had folks from every single service, like she said, from 20s to their 60s. Among them had over 205 years of military service and over 17 combat deployments. And so this is like a rock star powerhouse group of people. And so we're just so fortunate to be able to serve them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Wow. Very cool. Well, I think we're gonna close this out. Do y'all have any last words of importance or anything else that you want to express that maybe we didn't cover? And go.
I think Monique's point was right on, right? We are the HeartSpace Collective, and we provide authentic and restorative spaces for transformative connection for veteran women. And we're looking for partners who will help us expand our impact. We're looking for donors. We're looking for volunteers, anyone who has time, talent, or treasure. We're looking forward to being able to continue to serve this very important group that hasn't really received services from other places. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate y'all joining us and getting to have this conversation. I know it was really interesting for me to dive a little bit deeper into getting to know y'all. And yeah, Heart Space Collective is a very appropriate name because you guys just bring so much heart to this conversation. And if you want to invite North Node again, we would love to partner up. We definitely enjoyed it, and the individuals that participated were amazing people to work with, and y'all are just wonderful people to work with too. And if you ever want to come back on, just let us know too. We would love to have y'all. Cool.
Well, we appreciate you sort of being one of our first partners in this journey. I know we got a lot of great feedback from participants on their experience with your session. So it's awesome what you guys are doing as well.
Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for that.
Lindsay, any last words?
Oh, it was just to piggyback off of that. It was so deep and meaningful to be able to contribute to the work that you are providing and to the space that you're providing. And thank you for the service that you continue to do. This was immediately when we were asked, Liz and I looked at each other and we're like, yes, we're doing the thing. So let's just figure it out.
Yeah.
We would love to continue to work with you. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the future opportunities too. It was so meaningful. Thank you.
And I just want to also add though is again kind of like I had experienced it myself and the work that you end up doing. And I'm a giant skeptic, and I'm as far as I'm like, I'm not ready. What is this inner child? I don't know. Um, what is this woo-woo thing? And I'm not ready for this. And I fight. I'm a resistor. I think Lindsay had said, and you made a believer out of me, and it made such a positive impact that I was also willing to say, hey, do you want to do this? And then um, uh, I wanted my friends to at least experience it for themselves, not necessarily that they had to, but I believed in your work as well. And so, and that this could be beneficial, especially just for new people, right? Like, yeah, this
The
is
reason
literally my only group therapy session so far.
I mean, I think we knew that too about Monique. And so when she pitched you guys, I was like, oh, Monique doesn't do this often, So that was
Never.
already, credibility there, I feel. So
Oh yeah.
kudos to you guys.
Yeah, Monique, like you made this happen, right? You connected with us and then connected us to y'all. So
Mhm.
a big appreciation for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I will also say is you're welcome. Thank you. I'm trying to
Good job
accept all
receiving.
these. Yeah, I'm not receiving. I appreciate. Thank you so much. But it really fit very well into what we were trying to do because we talked about creativity, we talked about physical movement, we talked about try new things and wellness, and it doesn't always have to be mental health, right? And but it just happened to, also have some of those things. And I was like, hey, let's try it out. And so glad that it worked out. Thank you so much. And I want to also publicly say to the ladies that they really are, this entire group are so amazing. And I wouldn't have been able to do this and participate. And um, the bar kept going higher, right? Like the amount of work that we were doing. And Audrey sends us like mass, all these memes all the time. Um, going through, and it wasn't like we're like, are we done yet? But we weren't, because we care so much about this community, right? About women veterans. I cared so much. I was more nervous just because I wanted to not let my friends down, and I care so, about these participants. And yeah, we just kept going and going higher and higher and higher. And it was just, um, I know I have full confidence that this is um, a product that is worthwhile and for people to try out. So
Awesome. So an upcoming retreat isn't in October, is that right? Okay,
That's the plan. Yep.
cool. So any women veterans out there, go check out the HeartSpace Collective and watch that upcoming October retreat and check it out. Go to it. Um, Thank you guys so much for joining us on episode 15. And I hope everybody has a good night. And Lindsay, anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Love y'all. Bye bye.
Thanks, friends.
Bye.